Recently, I have been encountering more and more people who are suffering from depression. Now, if you've never suffered from depression, consider yourself very fortunate. Because depression is not just an emotional state. It can also actually cause physical pain. And I began to think about how many other people suffer from depression. Depression is defined a condition characterized by feelings of emptiness or unhappiness. I don't know about you, but I see a lot of that today. In a time of man's brilliance, where we begin to see the technology blossom forth, yet, with all of that, where it's designed to bring a sense of community, right? I mean, that's what Facebook, YouTube, and the plethora of other social outlets. But apparently, it's not working. I didn't know this, that depression is the leading cause of disability in the United States among people ages 15 to 44. Now, this is according to the National Network of Depression Centers. And it cost the United States economy $210 billion a year. And depression ranks among the top 3 workplace issues in the United States, along with family crisis and stress, which translates that if you're depressed at work, you're depressed when you're with your family, you're depressed when you're with your loved one. And drugs are not the cure. Now, they do help control, yes, to a certain degree. But in many cases, the side effects are even worse than the cure. So depression, we think about this. I hurt for my friends who suffer from this because I've suffered from depression. I mean, when you think about the word to be depressed, yeah, and that's exactly what happens. And then suicide. Now, I bet that caught your attention, didn't it? I did not know this, but suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 15 to 44. In the United States, there is 1 death by suicide every 12 and a half minutes. And when you begin to think that it's now eclipsing the number 1 cause of death in this age group, which is cancer, this is frightening. And we have got to begin to address this and say, well, listen, if drugs are not curing the problem, if therapy is not curing the problem, what is the problem then to cure it, right? It becomes the problem. Well, because so many are crying out for help. Maybe you are crying out for help. And if you are, well, maybe this will be the first step in maybe getting that help. It's the reason why I'm making this video. So, is there a cure? to become happy, right? I mean, that's what we all want to have. It's not the euphoria all the time, but it's in that stability, that state of mind, the presence of soul, to be in a condition where we are happy. And why do we want to be happy? Well, there's a good reason for it. Because when we're happy, it not only makes us feel good, but it does so much more. Physiology, just, what it does for the body. Reduces blood pressure. Can actually reverse arthritis. Do you know arthritis is caused by bitterness, anger, resentment, a person's unwillingness to forgive and to forget? Yeah. So what people want to know, okay, I want to be happy. I mean, there has to be an easy to understand way. Well, there actually is. There is a way that because when you're happy, what's happening is that the brain is releasing endorphins. And that's why certain drugs can give you that same effect. Sex can give you that same temporary effect. It's the endorphins. And when the endorphins get released in the brain, oh man, it just has this chain reaction. Higher creativity. You have higher gene production, cell production. It really just completely invigorates the whole life experience. Body, mind, soul, right? So endorphins make people happy. Seems pretty simple, right? So what's the answer? Believe it or not, the answer is to give. Now I'm going to leave an article that was linked on this where they have finished a study, and they found that in that study that people are happier when they give. Seriously, look at this. Check this out. The article, it's on Seeker.com. Happiness from being generous has a neural basis within the brain. Now, this is an amazing thing. So when we give, it makes us feel happy. And the benefits are just incredible. You can even see when they were doing this study, this one happened to be in Zurich in a lab with 50 people who reported on their own happiness levels after the act of generosity. Consistently, they indicated that giving was a feel-good experience. And so this professor and doctor, they went here and they actually took MRIs of the brain. And it actually, in fact, shows a physiological impact. Generosity and happiness improves the individual well-being and can facilitate societal success. However, in everyday life, people underestimate the link between generosity and happiness, and therefore overlook the benefits of spending on others. Isn't this amazing? It's the simple things that our complex society, unfortunately, has just made it almost impossible. And so when you are the recipient of someone giving, make sure you give something back. I mean, how many movies have been made on that whole thing? The pass it forward principle, right? It's what many religions teach, the same thing. And by the way, it's also been said that if you say thank you more often, has a great impact on your mental well-being. And say please more often. Be surprised what that will do. In fact, the words that they found, please, thank you, may I, the gracious words, also bring a calming effect upon the soul. Also a calming effect upon blood pressures and other ailments. So think about that. Be grateful for what you have. I know that we so often fail to be grateful for what we have. We become, I don't know, selfish? How's that? Narcissistic? Self-centered? Ego? But maybe if we just learn to have gratitude. Gratitude changes everything, folks. And when you're giving, it's that sense of gratitude that you can actually give. Think about that. And it costs zero to be grateful for what you already have. So think about that. And remember, the things that you take for granted, someone else is praying for. So 60-second depression cure. Always be kind to one another. And while you're at it, please support 60 Seconds for Humanity. Go to our Facebook page, like it, help support us, buy our t-shirts. Let's help and spread the word. And I believe that we, as 60 Seconds for Humanity, can help bring this cure and make people happy. All right, folks, be kind to one another.